I was born in Wichita, Kansas in 1947. My dad was a musician and a businessman, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. The way I grew up, there was no money for girls' sports, and that was just completely accepted as what was normal. I had gym class maybe twice a week. It was not stimulating. Running around the perimeter of the school would have been a highlight. I remember having a little bit of interest in tennis. I did ride my bike before I was able to drive a car. I was having some mental health problems as a teen, and I figured out that if I went on long walks, I would feel better. That was interesting, but never had any kind of sport at all. Like my mom, I was kind of intellectual. That was just not an area that I cared about. Girls went to home ec classes and boys went to shop. Physical activity, not really on my radar. On the other hand, I was very interested in food. When I was first on my own, I was very crunchy, granola, brown rice, low protein, but a lot of vegetables. So I go along my way. I'm into my 50s and six. I have one symptom, which nobody can help me figure out. I'm always tired. I found out that I had heavy metals, and that is what was making me tired. I got a good doctor after I gotten the heavy metals under control. She said, let's put you on this scale. You hold on to the arms of the scale, and it measures not just your weight, but muscle versus fat of your body. And she looked at that and she said, that's really not very good. You need to be doing something to increase your muscles. What would you think about weightlifting? And you can imagine, I mean, that is about as far from what I would be thinking about. I was about 70 when I did that. I wasn't overweight or anything like that, but I wasn't strong. You would not look at me as the picture of health, except maybe I was very careful with what I ate. I thought, well, as long as I walk, my doctor says you really need to do something to make your muscles better. That's when I found you. This was 6.5 years ago. Can you believe it, Valerie? I had the idea I was going to do it just once a week. And you said, no, really, you need to come twice a week, at least in the beginning to get started. So I thought, okay, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. Don't do it halfway.
And now you're lifting weights 3 times a week.
That's right.
Once on your own.
Exactly. Yeah, I did it today. It's been 6.5 years. It didn't happen overnight. It was hard for me to carry a suitcase. I like to travel. I could never put my bag up on the upper compartments. I always had to ask either my husband, or if I was traveling by myself, some nice young man, I would ask for help. But I wasn't super aware of things that I wished I could do. I just accepted that I'm a woman and women don't need to do that. Even though I'm quite a feminist, that didn't occur to me. That it's normal. There was never anything that I wished I could do. I just kind of accepted that this is the way things are. When you're in your 70s, this is the way it is. I could probably pick up the cat litter, but a big package, I'd have to ask my husband to do that. Not a lot of range of motion. I know that now, but I didn't really identify that at the time. There are things that I noticed once I started lifting that I realized I could do now that I hadn't noticed that were difficult for me. One of the first things I noticed that was different in the first months, it was easier for me to get up off the toilet. And it had never occurred to me that it had been an issue. Pushed myself up. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to get huge muscles. I imagine I'm not the only one. Those bodybuilder types on TV, I didn't want to be like that. I just wanted to get stronger. I want to live longer. I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. And that is not a problem. I'm still working on my biceps, so they look toned. I didn't know that I would end up liking it. I thought it was going to be a thing that I got through. I didn't anticipate that it gives me energy on the very day that I do it, in the very moment that I do it. Like today, I didn't have a particularly good night, but before we started our talk, I did my at-home third session of the week. It took me about 45 minutes, and I feel a lot better. And I knew I would. I feel a lot better than I did. It's changed my way of thinking about myself. I have muscles and I can do things that many women my age cannot do. Now I can put that bag up. I can put a 20-pound bag up on the thing, and I can walk faster. I can walk more easily. I have more confidence knowing that I can do certain things. Like if push comes to shove, yes, I could lift this 100-pound bag. I am not so dependent on other people to help me out, which is important as you get older. I'm going to be 78 next month, and I feel good about the shape my body is in. Lifting has made a difference in my mood. I'm in a happier mood. It's interesting how you can just remain unconscious of certain things. I didn't think of the physical side as being part of that. I feel more confident at work. By my age, many people have retired, but since I'm in business for myself, I've been able to extend the time that I'll be able to work and work well and feel comfortable doing that, feel like my mind and my body are in good shape. That's been really important. I'm grateful for that. I hope to be able to keep on doing it. Another thing, Valerie, that I don't want to gloss over, I like hanging out with you. I look forward to our time together. It's not just lifting. We talk, we know certain things about each other. We have a nice relationship, and that is really key. Our relationship is really important to me. You encourage me. It's funny because we're opposite ends of the age spectrum, but I want to please you. I want you to say, yay, Martha, 115 pounds. That's fantastic. That's part of it. Keeping up with you, what you're doing, what you're thinking about, what you're reading, me telling you where I'm going, what's going on with my family. If I'm upset, I'll tell you. It's been really important to me to feel like I have a cheerleader. I never had a cheerleader really before. It's nice to have someone encouraging me in an area where I'm not as comfortable, and to see that I'm getting better and doing more than I thought I could. With my deadlifting, my record is 115 pounds. I remember the first time you said one day I'd be able to lift my weight. I thought, oh my God, what is she thinking? But I can see that I'm not that far away. It's amazing to me that the muscles in my body have changed as much as they have. It's amazing to me that you can sculpt your body. I can actually feel that I'm doing that little by little. When I compare one year to the next, or even a month to the next, there was a notable difference. And I'm expecting that there's going to be an even bigger difference from the last time. As a therapist, you sit for a living, many chairs. As it turns out, hello, that wasn't the problem. I didn't have the abdominal strength. I've had the same chair now for 4 years, I think, and I have not had to change. That's a big change. In the beginning, when I felt vulnerable, I trust you. I think if you think I can do something and I'm not sure I can, I think you're probably right. I just have to dig deep and get over myself and do it. We've seen that. The first time that I'll deadlift something, it's not that heavy and it feels really hard. And then I can go up from 20 or 30 pounds from there on the same day. Part of it's mental, part of it's our relationship, you thinking that I can do it, me wanting to please you. Little by little, I've gotten much stronger.
Mm-hmm.
When I lifted 115 pounds, and I'm like, oh my God, how did that happen? On that day when I've trained, I feel happy knowing that I was able to do something that I didn't think I was going to be able to do. Moments of contentment and happiness,
Mm-hmm.
satisfaction, energized
Mm-hmm.
in a way that in my everyday life, you have counseled me to get certain equipment from my little gym. It's not a big room. It's practically a broom closet, but I've been able with the weights that I bought, the hex bar, the TRX, really happy to have those things and
Mm-hmm.
happy I can continue doing them my own. It hasn't really taken up any space at all, fortunately.
Now,
Because
when
there
I
isn't a lot. This is going to take a while. You're going to be sore. You're going to be super sore. You're going to hate it. I didn't really hate it, but I was sore. I hated being sore.
Yeah.
And it's going to seem like you're not getting very far in the beginning. Just stay in there, stick it out. It takes a while to feel like you're making progress. I would say it takes 6 months to feel like you're really getting somewhere. But at the gym, you know you're getting stronger because you used to be able to only lift 20 pounds and now you can lift 40. There is proof and encouragement from 1 week or 1 month to the next. You've given me a lot of good tips about what I eat and what I drink. I've increased my water. I've increased my protein and become aware of sources of protein that I'm channeling you often when it comes to food. For better or for worse, I am a very determined person, pretty self-disciplined. I stick with things and I have a lot of drive. That's helped me. There have been many times that I think to myself, oh, you can't do that. That's too ambitious. I don't know if you can really do that. I'm glad I found something that I can do
Yeah.
that helps me with my physical health, my mental health. I'm curious and I'm determined. When I see something that works and makes me feel better, and I prove to myself that I am feeling better, then I'm going to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Muscle is an organ, and you have to take care of your muscle. I didn't know that until the last few years. And of course, your bones get stronger as you lift weights.
And they get weaker if you don't.
Fractures are the biggest cause of death in the elderly. So
Really? Yeah.
it's really important
It
to
is.
watch out for your bones and your muscles. To someone who's considering starting, find a trainer that you feel connected to and that you feel you could hang out with for a few years. When I think back, it was very lucky that I ran into you. I'm not sure I would have done as well with some of the people in there as I have with you. You have to find a really nice match. I could hang out with this person. I can trust this person.
Mm-hmm. I want to make this person happy.
Find someone that you feel you like to be with,
Mm-hmm.
feel encouraged by.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the long game rather than the short game. This is not a process that is going to take 6 months. Hopefully, you want to do it for a while until you meet your goal or decide that, I don't know, maybe some people think they can do it, on their own after a while, and maybe they do. Always have a plan for me and to keep track of those statistics. I'm not sure quite how you do that. You know when I did it last, what the weight was, should I be able to do it again? And then there's the different kinds of blocks that we have, power, strength. I'm happy that we connected and happy that I've been doing it for 6 years.